Hello, everyone. I hope you're having an amazing day. Today, I want you to imagine a future where there are trucks that drive themselves. They're driving themselves on the long haul portion of the load, and you, the truck driver, with your years of experience and your years of knowledge and expertise, you play the valuable role of testing, training, logging data, and helping to ensure that these self driving autonomous vehicles merge well into the trucking and transportation system that already exists. Primarily, it is on the long haul portion of the load. And instead of being gone for weeks at a time and away from your family as an over the road truck driver, I want you to imagine a future where you're working at a hub operation or a truck port. And I want you to imagine this future where, in this future, at this truck port or this hub operation, you spend your time focusing on the tasks that need to be done to prepare the autonomous vehicle for its next departure. Imagine at these hubs, you are shuttling trailers across the truck port. You're unhooking and hooking up the trailers. You're performing the enhanced pre trip and the enhanced post trip inspections. You're doing routine maintenance checks because you've learned how to do basic technician duties. You're gathering data for the analysts and you're working together with your coworkers in a team environment. You're making local and regional deliveries to the customer, and you're getting that opportunity to build a relationship with customers, your customers, because you see them on a regular basis. Well, you don't have to imagine that. That future is already here. We're already seeing autonomous vehicles on the roadways through companies like Kodiak Robotics and Aurora Innovation. Aurora Innovation is who we will be spotlighting in today's show. And so that is the future. This is today. It's no longer, it's going to happen or it might not happen. That is the future. I've just described for you what a future with autonomous trucks look like in the trucking and transportation industry. If you're new here, welcome. My name is Jerri, and I own a recruitment and education agency where we focus on two things. We focus on truck driving jobs and education, educating you on the future of trucking, preparing you for the future of trucking and what that looks like and how you should be able to get ready. And so, again, if you're new here, welcome. I'd love for you to do me a favor and take a few minutes just to subscribe to the channel, to turn on the notifications so that you never miss a live. I'm live here on the show every Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday at 10 a.m. Central Standard Time. And I also want to say hello and good morning to all of my friends over at TikTok. Our TikTok, if you would love to go over there, I would love to see you on TikTok. It is Jerri Autonomous Trucking. Now, on this show, we talk about automation and autonomy, putting both together. I try to put them both together. But we talk about those two things entering the trucking industry. We talk about traditional truck driving jobs, and we talk about jobs in the autonomous sector. These are jobs where you can take your current skills and combine them with new skills that you learn and then become a game changer for a company. And then lastly, we close the show with a learning lane. In the learning lane, I share actionable tips that you can use right now to help you upskill and reskill for the new future that our industry is moving into. So, in today's show, we're going to be spotlighting company Aurora Innovation. They are an autonomous developer. I'm going to talk about how they're driving the trucking industry forward with their autonomous trucking technology. I'm going to talk about the status of AVs across the United States and what state is currently allowing AVs in their state. What state's not even talking about it? So we'll talk about that today. And I'll be sharing a job. It's going to be a team truck driving job. So if you're a team driver, you're going to want to hear about this one. It's a really, really good one. And then lastly, on the learning lane, I'm going to share a place. It's going to be a place where you can go to learn for free. For free, where you can go to learn and be able to stay ahead and future proof your career with cutting edge tech skills. The focus for today is going to be artificial intelligence. So I've already taken this course. I am credentialed and certified in artificial intelligence, and I want to share with you. Okay, so that will be our learning portion of the show. I hope that you stick around throughout, and let's go ahead and get started. I'm Jerri Banks. Our agency focuses on driver recruitment and driver education. We focus on helping drivers and preparing them for the future of trucking and transportation as autonomous vehicles and automation enters the industry. Our goal is to ensure that you are equipped with the skills that you need to be successful in this new way of life. So make sure you connect with me across all of my platforms. Jerri Banks, Autonomous Trucking. I look forward to connecting with you. Hello, hello. Welcome, welcome. Thank you so much. Let me check in with our comments. I will be able to get to some of your comments and answer some of your questions. I see we have a lot of questions on TikTok as well. Hello, Roy. Roy needs a new job, and he says he's willing to relocate. 2.5 years with no violations, clean. Look, I love to hear that. No violations in the clearinghouse, clean MVR, clean DAC report. I'm going to drop our contact information. The number is right there on the screen. Our team member Carlotta or Julie are standing by to answer any of your questions and talk about jobs with you. The number's right there scrolling by on the screen. Thank you so much for sharing that. All right, so we're going to move right ahead into our autonomous vehicle developer spotlight. So we're spotlighting today Aurora Innovation. And if you missed last week's show, last Wednesday, we spotlighted Kodiak Robotics. So make sure you go and check out either episode 1, 2, or 3, where we're talking about autonomous vehicles and trucking news in the industry. So make sure you check out some of our previous episodes. So Aurora Innovation was founded in 2017. The mission is to improve safety on the roadways. That's the mission, and their goal is to address the supply chain issues and expand accessible transportation. So the company focuses on autonomous trucking. That is our focus here. We are all in the trucking and transportation industry, but they also focus on passenger vehicles. And so your robo taxis are these are your cars that drive themselves. I actually, if you missed one of the episodes last week, I actually showed, and you can actually go on my TikTok, I actually showed myself in Phoenix, Arizona, riding in a self-driving robo taxi. They're called robo taxis. And so it was a great opportunity. It was something that I'm so glad that I was able to experience. It was different. It was a very different experience. And so not only does Aurora work on autonomous trucks and work to develop them and get them on the roadways, they're also working on passenger vehicles. They're based in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, but they have offices across the U.S. Um, and I know they're connected with a college. They also have their heartbeat. The heartbeat of their company is its operations in Texas. They're collaborating with some really big names, and these are names that you know and recognize. FedEx, they move freight for FedEx. They move freight for Uber Freight. They move freight for Werner Enterprises. They have lanes between Houston and Dallas and El Paso. They also work with vehicle manufacturers, so OEMs. These are the truck makers. They work with Volvo. They work with Packard. I'll get it right. And so their goal is to prepare and work with these OEMs for mass production of autonomous trucks. They also have a partnership where they're working to commercialize and bring the autonomous trucks into the industry on a larger scale. And that commercialization, who their partner is, it's a company called Continental. And so Continental is a software company, and they're working to deploy the autonomous trucks and that software at scale, at a larger scale. Their goal is the end of 2024. So in 2025, just know that we're going to see more and more. Right now, you might see them. So you live in Houston and you travel between Houston and Dallas, you're going to see them on the roadways. And the way you can recognize them is the sensors on the side of their trucks and the top of their trucks. You'll know that they're sensors. And the drivers are typically in there, not necessarily driving, but their hands are hovering over the wheel to take over in the event of an emergency. That's what they do. They take over in the event of an emergency. They're gathering data, they're reporting that data. And so I want to talk about their CEO, Chris Urmson. And this is an interview that he did an interview with AVIA. It stands for the Autonomous Vehicle Industry Association. So it's an association for the autonomous vehicle industry. And their goal is to move autonomous vehicles forward, not just autonomous trucks, but also autonomous passenger cars, autonomous taxis, to move them forward and to update the public on how they're going, to work with legislatures, and to also ensure that the public understands how autonomous vehicles work, to build public trust. And so that is Avia. And so he recently did a interview with Avia, and it came out in their recent State of AV report. And so his plans, from Aurora plan for 2024, they've set an ambitious target, and that target is to achieve driverless operation, because right now the driver is in the truck. Achieve driverless operation by the end of 2024. And this year is full of testing. It's full of integrating their driverless vehicles into their partner fleets. And so I talked about one of their partners, Werner Enterprises. We all know Werner. That is one of their partners. And that's the goal, is to integrate them into their partners fleet. And it's not just Werner, it's Uber Freight. It is, they're working with FedEx. They're working with quite a few of the major carriers. They emphasize a transparent approach. So transparency is a big deal from the standpoint of their process of verification and validation, just ensuring that they build reliable and safe autonomous driving capabilities. They have developed a safety case framework. That's something you can go and take a look on their website. And they work very closely with autonomous vehicle. They work very closely in the industry from an autonomous vehicle developer perspective, and also work very closely with legislatures, with the government, to bring forth these autonomous vehicles in the industry. Now, I've got their website up here, and I want to kind of show you, and I will share their website link. It's not private. You can go and you can take a look at it yourself. It's aurora.tech. And I encourage you to take a look at the website. Go and read their blogs. It's a lot of good information on here that you need to know if you're in this industry. So it talks about the dawn of freight is here. And these are their trucks. These are their trucks at their terminals. And what I'd like to show you is the hub operations that I talked about a little bit earlier. So these are scenarios, and this is, I want you to imagine this because this is what a lot of the autonomous vehicle developers, the green portion, if you take a look at this map here, and I know on TikTok you don't see it, but it's a map, and it starts in California and ends all the way in Florida. And this is the load. So essentially, the load starts in California, and it stops at the Aurora terminal. And this looks like somewhere just outside of El Paso. And the lane between El Paso and Dallas at the next Aurora terminal is the autonomous lane. So essentially, trailers are dropped off at an Aurora terminal as part of a longer trip, and they begin traveling in autonomy to the next terminal, which is the Dallas terminal, where those trailers are going to be retrieved, and then they're going to continue on to their final destination, which in this case, on this picture, this depiction, is Florida. And so that's their final destination. So that is the goal for commercial launch. Long term, there's a terminal to terminal with local drayage. So the trailers are dropped off at an Aurora terminal, which is El Paso, for example. There's a local warehouse. There's individuals working at the local warehouse at the local terminal. And then the trailers are picked up and then transported local to their destination, to their delivering to your customers. Doing that complex city driving is what they're doing. And then the autonomous lane is the lane between Dallas and El Paso and Dallas, because we're going east. And so that is the autonomous lane. And that goes to the next terminal, which is the one in Dallas, where they have the terminal, where they have the local warehouses, and the trailers are then picked up, and then they're transported locally to their next destination, or driving in the region, or maybe an Arkansas delivery. It may be a South Texas delivery, but that's the deliveries that the driver will make. So it's that long haul portion of the lane that Aurora focuses on, the long haul portion. And so I want to share with you very briefly an actual Netflix show. And I want you to take a look at this show. I want you to check it out. I watched it a couple months ago. It is still on Netflix, but it's a series. It's called Working What We Do All Day. And so the show is hosted by former President Barack Obama. And it shows us the complexities of modern working. Let me share the Netflix show for you. So this is the Netflix show. Here, it's called Working What We Do All Day. And so, again, it's hosted by former President Barack Obama. And this show talks about, and it shows us the complexities of working in the modern workplace. And what does it have to do with Aurora? So Aurora and their employees and their CEO, Chris Urmson, they're all featured throughout this series as a company basically transforming the future of work through autonomous technology. And the series, it really, it deep dives. If you got time, you can watch it. I think it's about 4 or 5 episodes, maybe a little bit more, but I think I binged watched it in like a day. But the series, it visits 3 American industries. It visits the home healthcare industry, it visits the technology industry, and it visits the hospitality industry. And it explores the realities of various jobs throughout the lives of these 12 people. And it discusses the themes like job satisfaction across different levels of employment, the impact of automation in the gig economy, and what the factors are that define like a good job today, such as like pay and stability and respect. And then one highlight from the segment of the technology segment, it features an employee from Aurora Innovation. It features Chris Urmson, who talks about the challenges and advancements in the field of autonomous vehicles. It also features one of their employees, I believe his name is Luke, but he has a great song that he shares, and he just talks about his life and what it's like working there and different things like that. So if you have the opportunity, check out the show. It's on Netflix. It's called Working What We Do All Day. So it's a really good show. Make sure you check it out. And it's really good to see like a lot of different it's good to see like a lot of different perspectives. And so I really think that you'll enjoy this show. All right. Hello everybody. Let me just check the comments. Canedrin, hello. Yes, she did tell me. I think I was in meeting, so I'll definitely touch base with you this week. All right, so let's move right along to our autonomy news. I want to share an article with you, and this article is basically by a truck driver, and it gives his point of view because he works for one of the autonomous vehicle developer companies, and he drives uh he is in an autonomous truck, and so it gives his point of view of what autonomous trucks is. But before we do that, let's take a very, very quick break. When it comes to autonomous trucks entering the trucking and transportation industry, up until now, you've only heard bits and pieces, news here, news there. There's been no centralized place for you to learn about autonomous trucks. Join me every Wednesday and Thursday and Friday at 10 a.m. Central Standard Time as I share information, news, and education on how you can stay prepared for autonomous trucks and autonomy entering the trucking and transportation industry. Hello. I'm checking out TikTok over here. Hello, everybody on TikTok. I do have a very good comment on TikTok that I want to talk about from my trucking journey. Hello, my trucking journey. Thank you so much for being here. I appreciate you. And I appreciate your comments as well. So he says it's true that autonomous trucks are already on the road, but they're not going to be mainstream until 10 to 15 years from now. And that he makes a very good point that yes, they're already on the roads, and they're not going to be mainstream. We're going to see a gradual incorporation, a gradual implementation of autonomous trucks. And right now, they're primarily and only prevalent in the South. So if you're in the state of Texas, if you're anywhere along that Sun Belt, and go look up the Sun Belt. It goes between Arizona, California, and Florida. That whole southern portion, I-10 basically. That's the Sun Belt, and so we'll see them slowly incorporated into trucking fleets, into major company trucking fleets. Most of the major companies, if you can name them, the megas, if you can name them, they already have a partnership with autonomous vehicle developers. And so 10 to 15 years may be a stretch. I don't think we're going to see them prevalent across the United States in the next, tomorrow, the next day, the next few years. No, but we are going to see them in certain areas. We're going to see them in certain um, geographic locations, particularly in the South, and we're already seeing them in Texas. We're already seeing them in the state of Texas. And here's the reason why. Here's the reason why we're seeing them in Texas. We're seeing them in Texas because probably the number one reason is the regulatory environment is friendly. The state of Texas, the state of Texas, I'm sorry, y'all, my alarm went off. The state of Texas acts absolutely works very closely with the autonomous vehicle developers and welcomes them. And so that is why we're seeing them more and more. Texas is a very, very regulatory friendly environment for autonomous vehicle developing. And so we're going to see it more and more. They're already working with the first responders. They're already working very closely with the what do you call it? The DPS, the Highway Patrol Department. They already work very closely with them. So we're going to see it quicker in the South, particularly quicker in Texas. The climate in Texas is ideal for autonomous vehicles. We might get winter, spring, summer, fall in one day in Texas, but it's a good testing environment. It's a good open environment. And I'll give you an example of why Texas, how you'll know that Texas a is a friendly autonomous vehicle company. And let me see if I can find it here. I thought this was really interesting. I talked about it last week, and I'll bring it up here for everybody to see. So this article, it's called Central Texas Innovates Smart Freight Corridor for Autonomous Trucks on State Highway 130. So on State Highway 130, and it's a portion just outside of Austin. And it's a pilot program that's led by the Texas Department of Transportation, and they're calling it a Smart Freight Corridor. And it's on State Highway 130, where there's sensors and cameras that share real-time road conditions directly to self-driving semi-trucks. And so this is not, it shows you the collaboration and the partnership between the state of Texas and the autonomous vehicle developers. And so this stretch, it's a stretch, I want to say it's like 21 mile stretch. 21 just keeps coming to the top of my head for some reason, but I think it's a 21-mile stretch. And it goes from Georgetown, Texas to Del Valley. And it has every 650 feet, they've installed equipment to ensure the autonomous semis get the lowdown on anything from stalled vehicle, road debris in the road, somebody walking, this is new. This article was just released, but I learned about it a couple months ago. This article was released in February. So look it up. State Highway 130 Smart Freight Corridor. And this just shows you more and more how Texas is prime and Texas is ideal for working with the government, for working with the autonomous vehicle developers and the partnership that they have together. And so to say that 10 to 15 years, I'm saying less than that. I'm saying today. I'm saying we're seeing it more and more. And so what I say as a recruitment and an education agency is it's time to learn. It's time to prepare. It's time to understand what it is that you need to be doing as a driver, as a transportation professional to be able to stay ahead. Because I always tell my kids, stay ready so you don't have to get ready. And that's like that should be everybody's motto. Stay ready so you don't have to get ready. So I won't be waiting for 10 to 15 years. It's got to be right now. And my son that's a trucker, with his experience and with his expertise, he probably get tired of me hearing about, look, here's a class I need you to take. Here's something I need you to learn. This you got to put on your resume, because I want him to be prepared. I want him to be ready. I don't want him to be the last one like that's out there like, dang, ain't nobody tell me this was happening out here. Nobody told me about this. And you won't be able to say that either, because I'm telling you as well. because you're getting this knowledge, you're getting this information, and don't just take it from me. Like, go sign up for the industry newsletters, go to the conferences, learn about them, learn how you can attend. So great point. Um, Thank you so much. I appreciate you, my trucking journey, for sharing that. He says Texas is setting the standards for us to come when it comes to regulations. Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. Texas is setting the standards. We are the leader. And I'm not biased just because I live in the state of Texas. I mean, maybe I am a little bit. Okay. But I will say that Texas is leading the charge for the entire United States to understand it, to welcome it, to embrace it, to learn about it, to increase your knowledge. And as you increase your knowledge about things, you also increase your paycheck. Let me say that again for the people in the back who it went over their heads. As you increase your knowledge about different things, you ultimately, in the long run, increase your paycheck. Okay? Because what I want you to be, you're not just here, you know, driving trucks. You shouldn't be. And this is what I tell my son all the time. You shouldn't be just out here driving trucks. You should be learning. And I'm preparing you to be a pioneer. Hold on, y'all. A pioneer in this new future that we're moving into. Okay. All right. Let's see here. Okay. Let me make sure I get plugged up because I don't need no. All right. We in here. We're in business. All right. So great. A lot of good information. If any of this resonates with you, if any of this is helpful, put it in the chat. Drop it in the chat. Let me know. Let me know. And if you have not subscribed to the YouTube, for those of you that are on TikTok, the YouTube is Jerri Banks LOTR Recruiting. Make sure you subscribe. That's where I am live, where you can like see it from the front. If you are on TikTok, I thank you for being here. You get to see all the behind the scenes stuff, everything that's going on between the break and everything like that. So I want to say hello to KPC77. Thank you so much for joining. I truly appreciate you. And let's take a very quick break.
I'm Jerri Banks. Our agency focuses on driver recruitment and driver education. We focus on helping drivers and preparing them for the future of trucking and transportation as autonomous vehicles and automation enters the industry. Our goal is to ensure that you are equipped with the skills that you need to be successful in this new way of life. So make sure you connect with me across all of my platforms, Jerri Banks, Autonomous Trucking. I look forward to connecting with you.
Then I'm sorry, y'all. I was talking to TikTok and y'all just caught me, okay? But my trucking journey says one thing. He said something, and if you want to be on TikTok and watching it the behind the scenes and listen to me talk in between, that's come on over there, okay? But here on the show, so I want to bring up his comment. My trucking journey says, I can't believe you're giving free knowledge and people are not flooding your channel. And this is what I was telling him. So I'll give it to you. When people get over the fear of losing their job, then they will come here to learn. But until then, I will continue to share the knowledge, share the information so that you're ready, so that you're prepared, so that you know where to go to get ready. Because a lot of people don't even know what to do. And so I'll highlight and talk about a survey. So we started a survey. It's a full 3-month survey. And we've been sending it out to all of the drivers in our database, all of the drivers in our network. And the survey talks about a couple of things. It asks a couple questions, but primarily it talks about, do you know about autonomous trucks coming into the industry? Has anyone told you? Do you have a go-to? Do you know, 90% don't even know that they're even out there. This is just the preliminary results that we're seeing. These are two alarming facts that most of the drivers and the transportation professionals out there don't even know where to go to even find this information. The second alarming fact that we're seeing from the beginning, initial results of the survey, is that 80% of them don't even know what they should be learning right now. Don't even have a clue of what to learn and where to go to learn. So that's why I want you to stick around, because in the learning corner, I'm going to talk about a place where you can go to learn, where I went to learn, just the initial, to lay the foundation of artificial intelligence and what it is, because that's what it is. That's what's working with some of these systems. And so let's go back to the Aurora driver. And I want to talk about their hardware. And I like the business model of Aurora, is because they're also going to be able to work with the small fleets as well. In long term, small fleets are going to be able to insert their transferable hardware kit into their trucks in order to have an autonomous vehicle as well. So they're just not focusing on the fleet long term. They want to incorporate the actual small fleet, the smaller trucks. And so let me share my screen here. So this is the Aurora driver, and I'm going to just kind of briefly go over the software, the systems, what they're using. And again, this is on their website. You can go look at this yourself, and I'll share their website link. It's aurora.tech, aurora.tech. And they have, again, like I said, a transferable hardware kit. Their driver is called the Aurora driver. It's a computer, and it's a high-speed computing platform that ingests sensor data, and it runs the Aurora driver software that controls the vehicle. So they use sensors. They use a series of, and let me preface by saying I am not an expert on autonomous tech, on software, I can barely use the computer. Okay. I have to ask my team, how do I control, alt, delete, and turn off my MacBook? Okay. Let me just preface by saying that I am not an expert in using the computer. So some of this goes over my head, but I do understand the premise. And so they have a combination of LiDAR, which is light detection. They have cameras, and they have radar. And so this kind of gives them that 360-degree view of their environment. They use perception by fusing the information it gathers from each type of sensor that's on the truck. They get a 3D representation of the entire environment. And so the Aurora driver's perception system, it detects, tracks, and identifies objects that are near, far, fast, slow, and stationary. And so that gives them the ability to be aware of its surroundings and be able to navigate the roads as good as a human driver, or even better than a human driver. So perception, and then it's got motion planning. And so I have experience with the motion planning. So when I was riding in the self-driving Waymo, it was a Waymo vehicle in Phoenix, Arizona. There's a little screen in the back that I could see. And on the screen, I could see the cars that were in the lane next to me. I could see the cars that were in the other lane, the cars in front of me, and the cars behind me. I could see that as we were driving. Oh, and she made me put my seatbelt on. She was like, "This is just like any other car. Make sure you put your seatbelt on." And so I had to buckle up my seatbelt, and it was really cool. It was a great experience. If you want to watch the video, check it out. It's on my YouTube, and it's also on TikTok as well. But they have the motion planning. They have mapping. mapping, knowing what route to take, knowing what to expect along the route, from road closures to um, anything emergency to anything that's happening along the route. And so they are continuously learning. It's continuously learning. It's almost like, and I'm sure it's higher level than this, than what I'm about to say. I'm sure it's much, much higher level. But remember when Google mapping first started and they were going out and they were mapping and we saw the little cars with the little thing on the top and they were, it's, I think it's something like that. I'm sure it's not, but it sounds good. And then they have simulation. So they train, they test, they validate the Aurora driver in hyper realistic virtual world. Um, and also in the real world. So that lane from Houston to Dallas, that lane they do from Dallas to El Paso, that is where they're building and testing and growing. So this is the Aurora driver. And so I encourage you to take a look at the website. Take a look at the website and see for yourself. Tell me what you think. Come back and let me know what you think. Great. So I want to just stop right here and take a quick break, and I want to tell you about an ebook. So if you're on TikTok, there's a link in my bio. You can download the free ebook. Also, in the link, we'll have it in the link of this video as well. This description, there'll be a link that you can click on. You can download this ebook, and this is an ebook that I wrote for you to be able to just know who the key players are, for you to be able to understand about the basics, the basic levels of autonomy, and then to know what skills that you need. I've listed a few skills, quite a few skills actually, that you need right now to be able to start preparing to be able to be ready. Also on the link, there is a free webinar. The free ebook, and then there's a webinar that it's a 2-hour webinar. The Take time to watch that entire webinar, but that's on the link as well. That webinar, I think it's on sale right now for like $19 or $15 or something like that. But I spent 2 hours with a group of drivers going through everything that they need to know, from automation to autonomy to drones we're seeing and robots we're seeing and classes that you can take and things like that. So I think that's a great start. It's a great introduction for you to get started. All right, so let's move right along. We're gonna go into a post. This is a LinkedIn post. So a lot of information is on LinkedIn. If you're not on LinkedIn, you should be on LinkedIn. A lot of information is on LinkedIn. This post is from AVIA, Autonomous Vehicle Industry Association, and it's an article, and I'm going to pull the article up here in just a second, but it's a quote from a driver, and he says, "I understand why some of my fellow drivers are concerned about autonomous trucking, but I've talked to countless drivers at truck stops and beyond, and most are simply curious due to the lack of knowledge about the technology and what it will mean for drivers. I think the reality is that this technology is going to be great for truckers." And so he goes on to talk about his experience, and I'll share, a couple of things, a couple of points from this article. But this driver, like I said earlier, once you've gotten over the fear of losing your job and the fear of being replaced, everything else is an easy transition. The learning, the knowledge, the understanding, everything else falls into place. So the driver's name is Jorge, and this is the article. It's called Take It From a Trucker. Take it from a trucker. Autonomous trucks will be good for drivers. So if you're on TikTok and you want to see that article, just search that. Take it from a trucker. Autonomous trucks will be good for drivers. And basically what he says, he's a long haul trucker. His name is Jorge, and he's a U.S. Army veteran. And now he works as a safety driver driving and doing the safety preparations for autonomous trucks at Kodiak Robotics. And his role involves monitoring autonomous trucks. It involves intervening if their driving doesn't match his expectations. So he has expectations of this truck. And if anything goes out of the norm, he takes over. And so his transition into this role, he says, was facilitated by his military background and his experiences in the Wounded Warriors program. That Wounded Warriors program is what helped him get his CDL after he got out of the military. And he views autonomous trucking as a perfect fit that combines with his driving experience and his expertise. And Jorge also is an advocate for the benefits of autonomous trucks. He emphasizes their consistent adherence to safety standards. He says they don't speed. He says they don't drive aggressively. They don't get tired. They're not distracted. They don't do drugs. So he addresses the concerns of other truck drivers, and basically that concern is about lack of knowledge and um, not understanding it. And so he talks to drivers at truck stops and at the diner, and he argues that autonomous trucks, listen to this, he says that they're not going to replace the driver. And the sooner I think that we learn that, because you can't be replaced, okay? You cannot be replaced. And especially, I'll say, if you run hazmat loads, if you do flatbed, if you do tanker, if you do anything specialized, if you do oversized, overdimensional, overweight, all of those things will never be replaced. And so he says that it won't replace you, but it will supplement the long haul jobs. It'll supplement the workforce by taking on those long haul jobs. It'll allow you to be home, and it'll allow you to focus on more local and more regional routes that are less suited for the autonomous trucks. And so that's the article with Jorge, the opinion and the thought process of a Kodiak truck driver who's also in the autonomous space. He's working in the autonomous space. If you want to read that full article, it's called "Take It from a Trucker, Autonomous Trucks Will Be Good for the Drivers." So that's the full article. So let's move right into our truck driving job. And so you're going to hear me on this show, you're going to hear me talk about traditional truck driving jobs. And that's exactly what I'm going to call it, a traditional truck driving job. And then you're going to hear me talk about autonomous jobs. You're going to hear me talk about jobs in the autonomous sector, because you don't know what you can qualify for or what you're ready for if you just don't know, if you don't know what's out there. And so that's why here I share with you what's out there so that you can either go prepare, or you can either look at the requirements and say, oh, that's me, I'm ready. But then I also know that there's going to come a time where, let me just say this. As a trucker right now, when you go to get a job, if you pass the checks of the MVR, the DAC report, the PSP, the company requirements, based on the little check boxes that you have to check, and if you pass the drug test, if your physical is good, you got a job at that company, right? But what we're seeing with the autonomous sector is that there's those requirements, but then there's also desirables. And so that's why you're here, because I teach you a lot of those desirables and I share those desirables so you know how to go work on them yourself. And so what those desirables look like, it looks like soft skills. And if you don't know what a soft skill is, it looks like being able to communicate. It looks like being able to work in a team environment and collaborate. It looks like um, customer service, taking care of the customer. I talked about that at the beginning of the show. That's going to be your new role, taking care of the customer. And those that excel at communication, teamwork, taking care of the customer, problem solving, those are all those are going to be the qualities and the skills that excel you. Those are those skills, and those are the skills that we'll talk about. Those are the skills that you need. Adaptability, being able to adjust, being able to move. And a lot of you I know are already adaptable because you 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 know how to move, you know how to shake, but there's things that you need to do from a soft skills perspective, from an interpersonal skills perspective, to be able to excel at those desirables, because excelling at those desirables equals a bigger paycheck. And that's why we're here at the end of the day. Okay. We're here to be able to take care of our families. We're here to be able to, pay our bills, feed our kids, do the extras, enjoy life. And those desirables are ultimately going to get you those things. So let's talk about the team truck driving job that I have. And so this team truck driving job, it's an over the road position. And if you're interested in this team position, I'm going to share the contact information for our team. And I'd like you to text team drivers. If you already got your partner, y'all are ready, y'all have y'all meet the requirements that I'm going to go over. I want you to text team drivers to 832-572-5277, and our team is standing by to make sure you qualify and get you going for this team opportunity. And so I'm going to start right off the bat with pay. So let's talk about pay. So if you have a hazmat, well, let's just say if you don't have a hazmat endorsement, you and your partner, and you come in, you're going to come in, you and your partner, and I'm talking to the truck, I'm not breaking it down, but you guys are going to come in at 95 cents a mile. Okay. This run is 18 days out. And I have it in mostly the east of I-35, not Texas though. Mostly east. So we would need to run your zip code to make sure that you're in the hiring area, to make sure that you qualify for this particular position. But you come in at 95 cents a mile. And on teams, you typically average, I'm going to lowball it, but you typically average, let's just start at 4,500 miles. Okay. 4,500 miles at 95 cents. You're going to average $4,275 to the truck. Okay. We're going to take that amount. And if you have ever spoken with me when I was on the phones as a recruiter, I pulled out my calculator every single time and went through, okay, so let's break this number down. All right. This is how many miles you want to be able to get each week to see this amount. Okay. So we're talking 4,500. You should be able to get 4,500 miles as a trucker as a team, you guys should be able to get 4,500 miles. Okay. So at 95 cents, you're looking at I'm talking each now. You're looking at $2,137.50 per driver before taxes, because I don't quote after taxes because, everybody's state's different and things like that. So 95 cents to the truck. Okay. You're going to get home every 18 days. You're going to be out for 18 days. And then when you're home, you're going to be home for about 5 days. It's all dry van. And this run, it goes pretty much in the Midwest and the Northeast. Not New When I say Northeast, I don't mean New York and Vermont and New Hampshire and all that. I mean Pennsylvania, and you're going to go over Massachusetts, Connecticut, and Rhode Island. So you're going to possibly be hitting those areas. All right. You need, in order to be able to qualify for this position, you need 9 months. 9 months of verifiable. Yeah, I got to be able to verify it. We got to be able to call your company and verify it. If you worked for yourself, we need to see those loss run reports. Okay. If you're teaming with someone who is experienced, let's say your partner has the 9 months of experience, but you've only got 6 months. Okay. If your partner has 9 months and you have 6 months, the possibility we may be able to still get you guys in. All right. No DUIs, no SAP violations. I got to say that. No more than 3 moving violations in the last 3 years. So you got to be a decent driver. Okay. You got to be able to pass a urine and a hair drug test. No preventables in the last 3 years. 0 preventables in the last 3 years. No drug test failures. No DUIs or DWIs in the last 7 years. So that is a team truck driving position. Now, if you have a hazmat, it's 98 cents a mile. It's 98 cents a mile. So I spoke on the mileage that I calculated was using 4,500. 4,500 is a good average for a team. I've seen team get like 5,500 or 6,000, but right now I would say 4,500 is a good average. So that's a pretty good run. All right. So lastly, I want to close with sharing a place where you can go to learn. All right. I'm going to close the show with sharing a place where you can go to learn about artificial intelligence. And I told you that I am certified. I took a class in regards to learning about artificial intelligence, and I use it in my business, in my day to day. This will help you in your day to day life. I use it personally and I use it for business. Artificial intelligence, and just I needed to understand. I'm a person that needs to understand like the behind the scenes, like what's happening back there, right? And that this course really helped me. And so this is not just a one course. This is with a company. And actually, I have something to show you because I got this from this company as well. So this is with IBM SkillsBuild. Okay. It's a free, let me be able to pull up the entire screen. It's a free on the go learning resource. When I say free, I mean you don't have to pull any money out of your pocket, right? There are videos, there's reading. You're going to have to read in the future of trucking, okay? We are going to have to read in the future of trucking. And so it says, power up your knowledge and learn from IBM experts on your own time. Discover courses that can give you a head start in areas like generative AI, machine learning, and more. And so machine learning is what I've talked about in regards to the autonomous vehicle developers, because a lot of them use machine learning to they use the machine learning to learn and already know what's out there. That's machine learning. That predictive AI, that's machine learning. And so you taking this course, it helps you to be able to do 2 things. One, knowledge. Knowledge and understanding is power. 2, it looks good on your resume that you got this introduction to artificial intelligence course and credential and certification, because you've taken your time and you've taken the time to get certified on something that someone did not tell you to go do. That tells new companies companies that you're going to work with, what kind of person you are. That you are willing to learn, you are adaptable, you are willing to go and seek out skills and certifications on your own. And this one is free. There's no need to not take it. Okay. So if you are interested in taking this, you can go to IBM ThinkBuild. We'll also have a link on our website, www.lotrrecruiting. That will be on there. And so this, I think, is a great way to future proof your skills and to get some cutting edge technology knowledge. All right. So again, that's IBM Skills Build. And while I am talking about IBM Skills Build, I'll do a quick little, it's not an unboxing because I've already opened it, but I participated in a focus group with them after I did after I got certified. They were doing a focus group, and I'm going to share this and then I'm going to get off. But I did this focus group, and as a thank you, they sent me this. I haven't used it, but IBM is the computer company. For those of you that don't know, IBM is the computer company. They have IBM Watson, um, AI. They're doing a big push to reskill and upskill America. Well, not just America, the globe, internationally, the globe. The goal is to ensure that the workforce has access to free knowledge, free online learning, and it's easily accessible. They can do it at their own pace. And so I started taking these courses and I joined them for a free, it was a focus group. And so they brought us on, uh, uh, maybe about 4 or 5 of us, and wanted feedback on the course and how it went. And I was really, really impressed with everything that they're doing to upskill a workforce. And so, if you are not familiar with IBM Skills Build, make sure you become familiar with that. And so, I got this really, really nice card, and it says, "Thank you for participating in our focus group, IBM Skills Build." For those of you on TikTok, and then I got this little keychain. It's their emblem, their logo. I don't know if you can see it there on TikTok. And then I got these really cool socks from the Sock Club. And it says, "Be equal." Be equal from IBM. So I got these really cool socks. Let me show TikTok. And then the last thing that I just thought was so cool, and I'm opening here, so you probably but it's a mug, and that's their thing. Think. It says think. So thank you, IBM. Thank you for the cool swag, the cool IBM swag, and for allowing me to participate in your focus group. I really think that what you're doing with the Skills Build program is going to definitely help the globe to reskill and upskill and prepare everyone for the future of work. Yes. All right, everybody. So that brings us to the end of our show. Again, I want to thank you so much for your time today. A lot of information, I know, but I encourage you to check out the past episodes. If you do not subscribe to the channel already, if you do not follow me across all of my platforms, make sure you are tapped in. Make sure you turn on the notifications so that anytime I go live, not necessarily during a show, but if I just want to hop on and go live because I have some hot information, if you have the notifications on, you will definitely get the notification and you'll be able to check out the live. Again, I thank you for your time today, and please leave me a comment. Give me your feedback. If there's anything that you want me to talk about, research, talk, and share with you, I'd love to be able to hear your thoughts. Thank you for being here, And I'll see you tomorrow, same time, same place.